Hello, hello, once again, your boy here, Paula from Down, Down, Up, Up. Happy Monday. Another lovely one, hopefully in October. Because as you know, I film way in advance when it comes to these things, but if my calculations are right, this should be the third Monday of October this year, and I come to you all once again to react to another classic Universal horror movie. Oh, they never get old, especially around this time of year. So far, we've gone through the original Dracula and the original Frankenstein. Both, again, prime classics to me. I love the actors. I love the stories. I love talking about the good and the bad. Today, we're doing one I believe I've only seen twice. I don't watch regularly, but I'm very aware of the plot, actors, etc. Still remains a classic to this day for its own unique reasons. Today, we're going through The Mummy, the original Mummy in 1932. This story I still find interesting to this day because if you are all familiar with The Mummy, you might think an old Mummy movie would just be a staggering mute going on a psychopath spree. Well, most of the mummies were like that back then, but not this original. No. This had a good old story of its own right. So much so that its origin was basically the one that was made into the Brendan Fraser mummy movies. The good ones. The first and second one, the good ones. If you've seen them, you know. If you haven't, no need to worry. But I recommend them. But no, we're going back to the beginning. The story of the mummy Imhotep and how, well, somewhat of a betrayal, sacrifice, and the story of love kept him going to come back from the dead and try to resurrect, or at least harness, his princess soul from another live human being who was born way after him, way after his original love, but so goes the story. And that's what makes this interesting. It's the story, because up to this point, we've had Dracula and Frankenstein, movies that have stemmed from well-known books. This was not the case for this movie. This was an original idea taken not anywhere from a book. Some have claimed that it has stolen similar arcs from some books, particularly one where I don't know the title by hand, because I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I'm not the biggest nerd, but I'm enough of a nerd. However, this was the closest thing at the time that Universal Horror came to an original story and brought forth The Mummy. However, when you look at it, if you've seen it, you know, well, yes and no. I always love to reference this first Mummy being so similar in ways to Dracula. That might sound weird. How really a Mummy movie can be referred to Dracula, I don't know, but think about it. It's an undead villain, which goal is love in some sick way or another. The hero of the movie is both played, and yes, by Edward Van Sloan. He is back in this movie as an archaeologist slash doctor. I believe also David Manners is back as the female love interest. He was Jonathan Harker in Dracula, and he shows up again in this movie. And funny enough, and if I didn't refer this in Dracula, I'm aware that the song at the beginning of the credits is the Swan Lake song. I'm not a fan of ballet. I am a fan of Dracula. So when I first heard that song, I always refer it to the Dracula music. But it's funny because it is in this movie too. It is in the opening credits of The Mummy. So little by not, it really does take some of the same elements from Dracula, but throws a completely different set of circumstances to tell our story, for the good and maybe in some seeing the bad. This is by no means an action movie. It's nothing like the later Mummy movies where the mummy goes on rampages and follows the evil biddings that the movies speak out to come. But so forth, the Mummy is as sophisticated as it gets because who plays him? Boris Karloff. Frankenstein's monster did so well, let's make him the Mummy. But here's the thing. This came 1 year after Frankenstein, but what did we do? We let Karloff use his voice. This is a big reason why I look forward to watching this again with you guys. This, to my knowledge, is the closest we get to horror with Boris Karloff expressing the true power of acting with his voice. This movie, The Mummy, does a fantastic job, and thankfully the makeup is not as bearingful as it was for Frankenstein, although I've heard rumors that he had to sleep just to get the right shots with his makeup as the Mummy for the first portion of the movie, so much so as up to 10 hours. Don't know if that's true, but they needed to do a lot of work on him to get this looking good. The plus is, though, for the majority of the movie, he is out of the bandages, just with a little bit of wrinkles and age on his face to do the job. He delivers 100%. And going back to Dracula, yes, I have a lot to say about this, but I'd love to talk about these movies. This could be a separate video of its own set. You guys could know. It could have been funny, though. Imagine if this was Bela Lugosi. And think about it. If he had played the monster, surely he would have been offered to play the Mummy. I would have loved to see his sophisticated voice go through with the Mummy like this. It's not how things work, but it's just funny. Referring it back to Dracula, everything could have been Bela Lugosi. But honestly, I'm not going to complain. Boris Karloff does the job. Just fun to think of the side notes. So, I guess without further ado, let's jump into the original that brought it to life, so to speak. I just need to move a few things. Have a sip of water. Get everything where I need it to be. Let's get the volume up. And, without further ado, let's watch and play. Oh, I'm excited to just relax, enjoy this once again. Is what I am. Especially the beginning, for some big reasons I'll explain as it goes on. Alright, there's the Universal airplane. Again, hopefully shouldn't be much for copyright issues. I'm not sure if I had a problem using the Swan Lake song for Dracula. But here we go. Shot of the pyramids. Instant graphic. The Mummy. Love it. And here it starts. I guess if there's another thing to mention while the opening credits are going on, Zeta Joanne, who plays the love interest, shows quite a bit more skin than you would think in a movie like this. If you've seen it, you know. Almost close to the showing of Leia in Revenge of the Jedi. Not to that extent, but close enough. Remember, this is 32. I still love this music. Also some words. This is the Scroll of Thoth. Heron are set down the magic words by which Isis raised... Oh, it's too fast for me. Reading through the hieroglyphics. I tried. Too fast. Death is but the doorway to new life. Oh, I do know this quote, though. I'll always remember James Ralph Board James saying this in an episode. Ah. Again, if you know, you know. Here we go. All right, on the exhibition in Egypt. Hanging around the old temple. Field Expedition, Season 1921, British Museum. We already got the British workers.
Trying to teach me a lesson in patience, Sir Joseph?
Method is everything in archaeology, my boy. We always deal with our finds of the day in order.
And the mummy's already in the background for one of the first shots.
Dug up today with the very peculiar gentleman over there is the only find we've made in the past 2 months that'll bring this expedition any medals from the British Museum.
We didn't
That's
come
what
to
you
ancient
think.
Egypt from medals. Much more is learned from studying bits of broken pottery than from all the sensational finds. Our job is
You should have stuck to it then.
Human knowledge of the past, not to satisfy our own curiosity.
Well, that's all very true, Sir Joseph, but after all, we're human. And a find like this, well, how can you wait?
this is your first trip. I've been out here 10 years, and I'm more curious about that mummy than you are, and even more about that box.
Grandfather,
Yeah?
the viscera were not removed. The usual scar made by the embalmer's knife is not there.
I guessed as much, Miller.
It's different, all right. Van Sloan's
I had a
checking.
good look at him when I photographed him. Never saw a mummy like that.
Now you won't ever
Will
again.
I imagine as anyone else?
Looks as though he died in some sensationally unpleasant manner.
Ah, you love to hear it. Also, the details, again, I have to say. I know people have debated why there are no bandages on his face, but theory goes that they rotted into his flesh. I like that theory by looking at his face in this makeup.
Temple of the sun at Karnak. Poor old fellow, now what could you have done to make him treat you like that?
An execution for treason, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrilege, more likely.
And the way they show the execution and what follows in this movie, again, very heavy for 1932. Possibly one of the first impalings in this kind of cinema.
Not only in this world, but in the next.
Maybe he got too gay with the Vestal Virgins in the temple.
Possibly.
That sentence would not
This is
carry
the
in
temple
today's
of Karnak for
standard.
The daughters of the reigning pharaoh. They were the sacred virgins of Isis.
Maybe the answer's in that box we found buried with him.
Yeah, let's open up the box, because everything's gonna go so well.
Let's have the box up there.
The wood's so rotten it'll fall apart at a touch. Whatever it is, it's terribly heavy.
Yeah, you're getting closer.
Metal. Looks like copper.
I forget if there's a warning written on it for this movie. Again, this is only my third time watching this.
Gold. I say. Look here. The unbroken seals of the pharaoh Amenophis.
Some temple treasure.
Oh, no, nothing to read, I guess. If only they knew what they were doing. Another box?
Death. Eternal punishment.
There's the warning.
For anyone who opens this casket in the name of Amun-Ra, the king of the gods.
Hey, they can't say they weren't warned.
Heavens, what a terrible curse.
Well, let's see what's inside.
Wait! You read the curse. We recognize your mastery of the occult sciences, Miller. But I can't...
Again, Edward Van Sloan, the only character with common sense in all of the classic Universal horror movies that he's
I saw
in.
this find was unique, and I wanted your opinion on it.
It is providential that you did.
Oh, come, Dr. Miller. Surely a few thousand years in the earth would
Dr.
take the
Miller.
jumbo off any old...
Gotta remember that's his character name for this. I can't always help remembering his real name or Van Helsing.
Do not touch that casket.
And he walks away. Smart man.
Cataloging. We'll open it later. You needn't think you can persuade me not to examine the most wonderful find of my whole experience out here.
And of course, they leave it with this young lad. Although, granted, as silly seeming as he is, ignorant as such, he delivers a real performance that convinces me he was absolutely terrified. Give it a couple more minutes.
From the Holy of Holies in the temple. And I can hardly wait to get back to find out.
The gods of Egypt still live in these hills, in their ruined temples. The ancient spells are weaker, but some of them are still potent. And I believe that you have in your hut the scroll of Thoth itself.
Honestly, the more I watch Edward Van Sloan do his job, I just wish he was in everything I watch that's horror. Everything. He's starting to become, honestly, the most underrated actor of all time when it comes to classic horror. I can't praise him enough. You guys are probably sick of me praising him at this point, but I can't help it. This will be the last time we see him for a bit, I know that much. All right, young fool, go on. Open it up. Yeah, there's a whole curse on the top, but why pay attention to that? Man, If there's something I never get sick of watching horror, it's making fun of the dummies. And to be fair, look, it almost looked like he's going to change his mind. He's just checking out his stones he has, working on something practical, but he keeps looking at the damn thing. The most you could have done was just put it down, put it back over so you don't have to look at it. Because again, you have to remember, the mummy is still in the room. There you go, open it up, yeah. Again, it just fits so well without music. And not quite the organ jars from the Brendan Fraser movie, but a scroll. Back when just the best things were on paper. And I just love that the mummy's in a long shot, like, you know, something bad's happening right now. What's happening, though? And they don't even need to show a whole lot to get it across. The saying, less is more, applied so well back in this day.
Put it back. Bury it where you found it. You have read the curse. You dare defy it.
In the interest of science, even if I believed in the curse, I go on with my work for the museum. Come back with me, and we'll examine this great find.
And two practical reasonings.
With my presence.
Hey, Gummy Bear, you gonna come up and sit with us? We're watching a movie. Okay, long shot. We keep checking on him in the sarcophagus. This guy seems to be translating the scroll. And of course he starts reciting it. We have the mummy on screen. And you can see he's breathing and the eyes slowly open. Give all the attention to detail for Karloff. Terrifying. The arms slowly coming down. Since the body hasn't moved in thousands of years. Or hundreds, whichever. Again, I'm not the biggest nerd, but I know what I like. Even like this detail, you don't even see him walk. You just see the hand come in frame and take the scroll. Ever so slowly. Oh, how decayed it is. He's slowly starting to notice. And he just loses his mind. That's scary, man. And think about it. This is when we were just getting into sound for movies. It's not like everyone's the experienced sound actor. This guy, I believe this. He's lost it. He's done.
He went for a little walk. You should have seen his face.
That is terrifyingly real. Hey, another shout out to Dracula. We were in Egypt big time there, but now we basically cut away to modern time looking things here. And there's the man of the hour, new big hero, Jonathan Harker.
Yes, something to break the monotony. There's a visitor coming up the trail from the Nile.
Colour, nationality?
How could I see in that glare?
Well, Wimple, back we go to London.
And what fools we look. Money wasted. Hole after hole dug in this blasted desert. A few beads, a few broken pots. A man needs more than hard work for this game. He needs flair. He needs luck. Like your father.
Well, in the days when he used to come out here, there wasn't so much competition.
When he did, he found things. And once, 10 years ago, he found too much.
Was it 10 years ago? Queer story, that young Oxford chap he had with him going mad. You know what I think it was?
Mad, eh?
What? I think he went crazy. Bored beyond human endurance, messing around in this sand and these rocks.
Nah, I can assure anything but boredom.
He died
Boredom.
laughing in a straitjacket. Your father never explained. But when the best excavator England has turned out, a man who loved you, said he'd never come back here, that meant something.
Crazy to think 10 years before the mummy makes his move. But he's been waiting longer. But there he is. All dressed up under cognito.
You break your season's camp, Professor Pearson. Your colleagues have returned to London.
Yes? Wemple and I stayed behind to clear up.
Your expedition has not been a success.
Scarcely. Here are the season's finds.
Permit me to present you with the most sensational find since that of Tutankhamun.
This is very sporting of you. May I ask why?
We Egyptians are not permitted to dig up our ancient dead. Only foreign museums.
Just listen to his voice.
What's this?
Part of the funerary equipment of the Princess Ankhsenamun, daughter of Amenophis the Magnificent.
Yes, it's her name.
I found that not 100 yards from where we are.
You mean you think her tomb is there?
I will show you where to dig.
I'm sure it's very good of you, Mr. I didn't catch your name.
Ardeth Bey.
Ah, little today, though. He has his own reasons.
Circumstantial evidence. Not very strong, perhaps. But if we put that gang of diggers from Kerner on the job, we can tell him 2 days if there's anything here.
In 1 day, Professor.
He's confident enough. Hey, every worker needs a song. Follow the stereotype. Quickly, quickly.
It's a step.
He was right. Anyhow, we found something.
Double backsheesh. Attack with backsheesh.
Well, they're picking up the pace now, brother.
The name of Ankhsenamun.
We will cable your father in London. He must be here when we examine this great find.
The seal of the 7 jackals.
And it's unbroken. No one has entered this door since the priests of the royal necropolis sealed it.
Believe it.
3,700 years ago.
All right, Tomb of Ancient Princess uncovered intact. Sir Joseph Wemble returns from England to supervise sensational find by British Museum expedition. Lovely. So a success. Back to Cairo we go. In the museum. This gallery contains the mummy and complete funerary equipment of the princess. All objects in this room are from her unplundered tomb. Sorry if this is muted again, even though you can't hear me. I'm not sure if this music can be copyrighted or not. I don't remember this much music in this movie. But our mummy is indeed in the museum, looking at the prince, and there we cut to the new life. Zeta Joanne, I believe, looking as gorgeous as she did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look her up. She looks great.
Is there a view like this in all the world?
Really, Jim? Are we really in this dreadful modern Cairo?
Your thoughts are far away from the dance and these nice English boys, my dear.
Not really. I'm having a lovely time. I'm so grateful.
But why?
For your keeping me here with you, of course. So I don't have to go up to father. And that beastly hot Sudan.
It's I who am grateful. I'm most interesting patient. Know who that is?
Miller of Vienna.
Granted, this movie does have a bit more bare moments of chatter than some of the other classics, but it's just waiting to see the mummy again. That's what keeps you going.
Pardon me, sir. Our closing bell has rung. I did not notice the time. I am addressing Sir Joseph Wemple. Yes.
Surprised he doesn't recognize him.
Indeed. Why, we have you to thank that we have this exhibit here at all. The museum should be kept open all night in your honor. Won't you come down to my office? I'm working here late. Your pardon, I dislike to be touched. An Eastern prejudice.
You know, so even if Karloff dislikes anything, he's not going to express it like an animal, like vulgar, loud. That isn't this character.
You know, my son.
Audit Bay. Where did you disappear to when we opened the tomb?
I returned to Cairo. But now I must not detain you. But I must see you again. You must come to my house. I regret I am too occupied to accept invitation.
Huh.
He's a strange one.
Huh.
But you might at least have thanked the man. He was responsible for finding the princess.
Yes, I rather wish he hadn't been. I think it's a dirty trick, this Cairo Museum keeping everything we found.
That was the contract. The British Museum works for the cause of science, not for loot.
That's just like Indiana Jones. You're going to go get something. Guess what? Most likely, where's it going? Museum. But our mummy, Imhotep, doesn't want to leave so soon. He's busy with his scroll. Right by the princess. Oh, but we cut back to dancing. Okay. He recites the scroll. Oh, yeah, and I guess she would feel effects since she's the living reincarnation. There we go.
Is anything the matter?
That's what I remember liking about her. Her blank face is just so believable for this movie. Most of the side love interests in horror movies can be so easily forgotten in times like this, but she stands out so well. I'm not certain if she did any other big ones, because there's just none that pop off in my head like this one. Yeah, he's just reciting the scroll. She's walking blindly out into the street, probably heading for the museum.
Where do you want to go, Miss?
Le Musée des Antiquités.
All of a sudden speaking Egyptian. Both of them are just muttering the names. Ah, but our heroes may see her trying to go in. Yep. Go on then. Try to stop her. David Manners.
I must get in. I must.
Closed for the night. Everybody's gone home.
I must get in.
Just passes out. Jeez. Still muttering even though they took her away.
What's she saying? Udi. Osati Imhotep. What language is that?
The language of ancient Egypt, not heard on this earth for 2,000 years.
If that doesn't tell you something's wrong, then figure it out, man.
Spoken since before the siege of Troy.
Ah, but here's our security. Back to the museum we go. Oh yeah, he tries to handle this so non-violent like. Turns off his candle, attempts to disappear. Kitty. Off screen we go.
Is your master at home?
Yes, Effendi.
Tell him Dr. Miller wishes to see him urgently.
How did I get here?
We brought you here. Father and I. You fainted.
And how did you guess she was here?
I discovered that she took a taxi from the hotel to the museum. I went there. The watchman said she had left in your car.
Always the
Before you
sleuth.
take her away, I must talk to you about something she said just now.
Oh, Dr. Miller.
So, here you are, my dear. I suppose you introduced yourself? No? Miss Helen Grosvenor, my old friend Sir Joseph Wimple, Frank Wimple.
It seems so formal under these peculiar circumstances.
And now, if you're all right again, back we go to the hotel.
I think she ought to rest a few minutes.
Hey, what's up? Gonna watch the mummy?
Make yourself agreeable.
What? Ooh, a little feisty, aren't we?
Well,
Where was I when I fainted, Mr. Wemple?
Oh, outside the museum.
What was I doing there?
I wouldn't know that, would I?
No, I don't suppose you would. I wish I did.
You think I was waiting?
Let's not talk about it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, let's just stare at the ground.
You're partly Egyptian, aren't you?
Yes. How did you guess that?
I don't know. Just something about you. You know, I'd have liked
Just
Egypt
something
better if I'd
about
met
you.
there.
Oh, are you this?
That was
There's
just
just
luck.
something about
Stuck in the
you.
desert for 2 months, and was it hot? That too.
What tomb?
Surely you read about the princess.
So you did that.
Yes. The 14 steps down. And the
Oh
unbroken
yeah,
seals
she's
were
not a
filling.
fan of that, is
And when
she?
we came to handle all her clothes and her jewels and her toilet things, you know they buried
Toilet
everything with them
things.
that they used in life. Well, when we came to unwrap the girl herself,
How could you do that?
Ah, yeah.
had to. Science, you know.
Science.
Well, after we'd worked among her things, I felt as if I'd known her. When we got the wrappings off, I saw her face. You'll think me silly, but I sort of fell in love with her.
Do you have to open graves to find girls to fall in love with?
Oof.
I say, now I know what it is about you. There was something about her head.
I had never mentioned the name,
There we go.
yet I heard Miss Grosvenor mutter in ancient Egyptian something about Imhotep.
Imhotep.
What was this artist doing in the museum?
Looking at the mummy, just at closing time.
Edward Van Sloan back on the case again, just putting all the pieces together because nobody else is capable. Oh yeah, there's the murder report. Security guard.
Feel free to Fendi. Come. A museum guard found dead in the room of the princess.
Oof.
Yeah. So he died of shock. We find this in dead guard's hand, Sir Joseph. Probably thieves tried to steal it.
Oh,
Take it
left
away,
the scroll.
Kill him. Because of death, I not find nothing.
Looks like an attempted theft, but nothing stolen here could be disposed of.
Here's the document.
All right, anybody gonna put the pieces together? Duh! I didn't remember that. He just fade to black on it.
You'll be more comfortable.
Thanks.
You really want to know why I didn't take you to the hospital? Because when I held you in my arms,
Hadn't you better not commit yourself? What girl could fail to make a conquest who collapsed at a man's feet in the moonlight?
I know it seems absurd when we've known each other such a short time.
I guess if you know, you know.
Don't you think I've had enough excitement for one evening without the additional thrill of a strange man making love to me?
But I've never been serious about this sort of thing before. Now look here. You can tell me to go to the devil. You can't laugh at me.
And you will be interrupted. I do catch him
Precious
kissing.
her, and now through her, it will strike my son.
Quiet. Frank, will you come to your father's study? Helen, I shall take you home presently.
I'll be back in a minute.
Well, two of them have common sense to know what's going
Imhotep
on.
was alive when that mummy in the museum was a Vestal Virgin in the temple.
3,700 years ago. What's that got to do with us now?
Your assistant, who went insane and died, as you might have done if you'd seen what he saw, made a transcription of part of that scroll.
Yes. I have it still.
You seem to think this thing has all the devils of hell in it. Why not burn it and be done with it?
An excellent suggestion. What became of the mummy of Imhotep?
Somebody stole it.
Ha.
Look here, Dr. Miller. What's the matter with Miss Grosvenor?
You still think that that mummy was...
He's just ignoring him. I love it. He's trying to talk to to his father.
Yes, I don't know.
Oh, about to have our visitor, though. Hello, Imhotep. You are now under my power. All you have to do is look at him. Yep, he has the servant in his power. Kiss the ring? No, just ring in the forehead. Okay, the mummy is alone in the room with the princess reincarnation, and I think he already knows. He's creeping. She's not quite awake yet. There we go. There you go, lady. Have another strange man.
Thousand pardons. I am hard at bay.
Hey, Gummy.
I'm Helen Grosvenor.
I called to see Sir Joseph.
He's in the study.
A conference? If I might perhaps wait.
Yes. Of course.
Both obviously know the connection is there, just not sure what from her side.
Have we not met before, Miss Grosvenor?
No. I don't think so. I don't think one would forget meeting you, Odette Bay.
Then I am mistaken. But you are of our blood. As to that, I am not mistaken.
Hmm?
Yes. My mother was Egyptian.
You must burn the scroll of Thoth.
I tell you, it's the museum's property. Not
Ah,
mine.
and there's the blockage.
Who's
It's
out
the
there with the
museum's
scroll?
property. Oh, we can't destroy it. Oh.
Odette Bay. He's come for the scroll. Odette Bay, Dr. Moore. I accept your invitation, but I find no solitary student with his books. I fear my visit is inopportune.
On the contrary, we were just talking about
Me?
your native Egypt. You know Miss Grosvenor?
Odette Bay introduced himself.
Won't you be seated?
Still civilized just the same. And his eye contact is surreal.
Sir Joseph was just wondering how you knew where the tomb of the Princess Anck-Senamen was hidden.
Partly inference, partly chance. Sir Joseph, you seem disturbed. Yes. A tragedy at the museum after you left.
Tragedy? When I was there?
When you were there?
Oh,
Miss
now
Grosvenor?
he has figured it out.
Yes, they tell me I went there and tried to get in after it was closed. I don't remember, but
Helen, it is very late. Frank, will you please see Helen back to the hotel?
Certainly, if Miss Grosvenor will let me.
I don't want to go.
After what happened, you need rest badly.
But I don't. I was tired. I have never felt so alive before.
Then as your doctor, I must
See,
warn
just
you.
like the trait when it comes to Dracula taking control over somebody. They feel more alive than
Now let's say
ever.
au revoir. We must see each other again.
I shall be honored.
I do like this scene, though, just to get a full look at the mummy for a long time. Like, every detail looks perfect, trying to make him look regular enough, so to speak, but
An
just the
unusual
long
find.
neck is such a nice
A dog
touch for
killed
this
by a man who
character.
left a gift to the museum.
A gift?
A scroll, part of which was transcribed when it was first found. Here is the transcription.
Alright, so he knows they have the scroll.
I cannot read the writing of a period so remote. But you read the name of Ankh-Senamen on that piece of pottery. That was of the 18th dynasty. These are pre-dynastic ideographs.
And he's hiding
The
his
scroll from which this was copied
notions.
was stolen 10 years ago, together with the mummy of the high priest Imhotep.
Oh.
Most interesting. May I see that scroll, Sir Joseph? We left it at the museum. So,
I have something else to show you. Photograph.
Of the there's the similarity now.
why do you show all this to me?
Do you think it conceivable that the mummy was not stolen, but restored to a semblance of life by the spell from the scroll of...
That scroll is my property. I bought it from a dealer. It is here in this house. I presume in that room. Never
We had foreseen this. Scroll is in safe hands. It will be destroyed the minute it is known that harm has come to us.
You have
Ooh.
studied our ancient arts, and you know that you cannot harm me. You also know that you must return that scroll to me or die. Now tell that weak fool to get that scroll wherever it is and hand it to his Nubian servant.
The Nubian, the ancient blood. So you have made him your slave.
Again, Van Sloan just knows everything that goes on.
I break your dried flesh to pieces,
The only oh, there's the stare. Good lord.
but your power is too strong.
And even a little smile from Karloff. Little grin. Yeah, back to Van Sloan though. Like every movie he's in, he's just the character you relate the most to. Someone that just has common sense and knows what's going on.
Burn the scroll, man. Burn it. It was through you this horror came into existence.
It's true. It's true.
It's true, then do it. Ah, he's in his little house right now, seeing what's going on in his little pool. Y'all can try to destroy it, but you're gonna have to be a bit smarter than that. The least you could have done is occupy his time. Gonna try to burn it in the fire, well. Say goodbye to your dad, Frank. Might as well say he's using the Force right now. Heart attack! Yeah, even the crush motion is just the Force is what it is. No dice. No dice, sir. Dead. Took a lot of strength from the mummy, though. But anything to save the scroll. And now the servant can come in and steal it. Oh, yes, I do like the brilliance here. Not only does he steal back the scroll, but he burns some regular paper, unimportant paper, so to speak, to make it look like the scroll was destroyed. Again, all the little attention to detail makes a movie for me. I am running low on water.
Your father destroyed the scroll knowing that it would cost him his life. What's that? Isis. The Egyptian symbol of life. I meant it for your father.
What good could that old charm have done him?
Shouldn't
I
be
the doctors say it's a plain case of heart failure.
shouldn't be doubting this charm. You need to learn. You doubted this man in Dracula. It didn't go well for you at first.
He'll be back.
Sorry, David. You're the whipping boy from this.
It was that idea and the horror of it that killed my father.
The museum guard died of natural causes too. Frank, I need your help. I saw your attraction to my patient last night, and hers to you.
Hers to me? You really think so?
And I welcomed it.
Do you think I have a chance? Because I think she's the
All comes back to blinded love.
Oh, but this is terrible at a time like this.
Frank, I'm afraid. Will you go with me to her now?
Yes.
And telephone her
Maybe
first.
y'all should just
Not to
investigate
leave the
the burned paper a little bit more. Hey, someone has common sense, though. He puts a little bit of it in an envelope.
9590.
No, I'm not going out. Yes,
Yes.
I promise to wait until you get here. Goodbye. And I'm so dreadfully sorry.
Come here. All right. Well, Dr. Miller's checking this burnt paper. Does he need to perform a test, or can he just tell?
What were you doing, Doctor?
Your father did not burn the scroll of thought. That creature has it now.
The ashes in the fireplace.
They were newspaper. The scroll is papyrus.
Then it was murder. The Nubian.
Wear this around your neck.
Why?
When we fight
Why,
this
he
creature,
says.
we must ask protection from the forces of old that it defied.
I'll give it to Helen. She's the one that needs protection.
No, her life is not in danger. It is her soul. Should love for you come to her, he will try to destroy you. That amulet, the Egyptians believed, was a charm against evil sendings, such as struck down your father.
Correct. Back to the stair. Is he calling her at this point? I am excited for one of the upcoming scenes. Yes, here she comes, walking her dog to go see the mummy. The flashback scene in this movie, again, is really heavy for its time. Up until this point, the audience was probably enough satisfied with what's going on for their expectations, but again, I'm telling you, the flashback scene makes this movie more heavy than anyone could expect. Oh, what a cute dog. Oh yeah, I'm gonna wait at home.
Your dog is frightened. My servant will see to him. Sit down, Miss Groven.
Ancient Egypt. Nothing modern. A strange incense.
Is it not familiar to you?
No.
Our forefathers used it. Yours and mine. You will not remember what I show you now, and yet I shall awaken memories of love and crime and death.
Here we go. This is where it gets heavy. The backstory. Something Universal took all too into account for the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie. There's the princess and
I knelt by the bed of death.
She couldn't get well and died. Granted, that part Universal later took its own twist on, but Imhotep's part is basically the same as his punishment. Good kid. Go sit with your brother.
My father's last farewell.
Fair enough. I'm at least watching an Egyptian movie with cats. Into the pit she goes. Where did I put the remotes? Oh. Sorry, I'm not actually too sure about this music, and I apologize if you haven't heard me or the movie until now. So I'm just going to mute this. I don't think there's too much important dialogue here. Just his plan, what to do to resurrect her. Yeah. He goes to steal the scroll. And the gods look down with anger at him. He's just taking it out. I know the statue moves at him, I'm pretty sure. Go on, take it out. And?
I dared the god's anger and stole it.
Correct.
I stole back to thy tomb to bring thee back to life. I murmured the spell that raises the dead. They broke in upon me.
Yeah, they caught you.
Found me doing an unholy thing.
And you were then given an unholy death.
Thy father condemned me to the nameless death.
Nameless death.
Scroll he ordered buried with me, that no such sacrilege might disgrace Egypt again.
All right, we're getting closer to the tour. There we go. Yep. Getting wrapped up. Again, think of the time. Disturbing for the time. Terrifying. And they don't skimp out either. They show his whole face being wrapped up. And just thrown into the box like garbage. Okay, so they're unmarking the sarcophagus, breaking it apart, carrying him to be buried in an undisclosed location. And we're getting closer to still what I say is most likely one of the first real impalements shown in a movie like this. Yeah, scroll being buried with him. The Pharaoh making sure it's buried. I just don't remember if there's any dialogue that goes along with this.
A nameless grave. The slaves were killed so that none should know. The soldiers who killed them were also slain. So no friend could...
My God, again!
For my condemned spirit.
It's only just a couple of seconds shown, but it's so heavy for the time. Arrows going right through him. Spears, sorry.
My love has lasted longer than the temples of our gods. No man ever suffered as I did for you, but the rest you may not know. Not until you are about to pass through the great night of terror and triumph, until you are ready to face moments of horror for an eternity of love. Until I send back your spirit that has wandered through so many forms and so many ages.
Oh, even the cat there is
Before
disturbed.
then, Bast must again send forth death. Death to that boy for whom love is creeping into your heart. Love that would keep you from myself. Love that might bring sickness and even death to you. Awake.
Have I been asleep? I had strange dreams. Dreams of ancient Egypt, I think. There was someone like you in them.
My pool is sometimes troubled. One sees strange fantasies in the water, but they pass like dreams.
Wolfram! Wolfram! Where is he?
Say goodbye to that dog. No dogs. Cats only.
Helen.
Yeah, she's back, but
Helen.
not too happy.
Where have you been? We've been so worried. We've hunted everywhere.
In the museum again?
Yes. Muller's down in the Arab quarter now.
If I must give an explanation, it was stuffy in here. I can't be shut up all the time. And besides, I don't like the feeling that I'm always being watched. I took the dog with me.
Well, where is the dog?
Ah.
He's dead.
Whew.
But how?
I don't know.
Where?
I don't remember. But I can see it now.
Hey, one of the first big movies to upset everybody. Rule is you can kill as many people as you like, but you never kill an animal.
Goddess fast.
That's somebody's pet.
Yes,
People
I
get
understand
upset.
fast.
Goddess of evil sendings. Just what happened? Try to remember, Helen.
I don't want to remember. Besides, I don't see that it's any affair of yours.
Oh, but it is. We know that you were with Ardith Bay.
Yeah, again, just like Dracula, can't really explain anything but showing
trying to
all
help
the
you,
problem
protect you.
signs.
We all are.
Don't let me go again. I'll try to get away, but you mustn't let me. No matter what I do or what I say, there's death there for me. And life for something else inside me that isn't me. But it's alive too and fighting for life. Save me from it, Frank. Save me.
Oh, everything's going to be all right. Now that you've asked for help, I'll never leave you alone. I'll get Mrs. Miller down here with you, and I'll stay here till the doctor comes. Then we'll take you to my house. Oh, Helen, it's been such torture. I love you so.
It's been such torture.
I don't like that, Doctor. Please go in there and find out what he's saying about me.
I will, my dear. He'll know just what's the matter with you and cure you. Now, don't worry.
Now, Miss Farthing, help me to get dressed and get out of here.
Come over here again, Miss Grosvenor.
I must escape. I'm being held here. You must help me.
But you told me when these fits came on I wasn't to listen.
I have a friend. He's rich. He'll give you money.
You just lie down again. You know you mustn't get up.
Well, if you don't want money, what do you want most? He'll give you anything. If only you'll help me to go to him.
You want me to call Dr. Miller?
No. I hate him.
Mr. Wemple, then?
I'll die if I don't get away from him.
Now,
It's killing me, do you hear?
Please. Now, Helen, you must not do that again. You're all so exhausted afterwards.
Yeah, she's just dramatic enough that it's believable.
I insist on keeping her here under our direct observation.
But Dr. LeBaron, you haven't told us what to do for her. She's getting weaker every day.
You know that negligee I bought in Paris? Help me to put it on. And bring me my toilet things. I want some color. I want to look well.
But you can't do that, my dear. They'd never allow it. The nurse would be sure to.
No, we'll get rid of her. This is a plot, just between us. I want to look the way I did. Just a surprise for Frank. And I want you to bring him to me. You understand?
In short, I've failed to make a diagnosis.
Medical science is helpless in a case like this.
Then why do you have her here?
Go to her, and don't be angry with me. I couldn't resist her.
Oh, but Helen, you shouldn't have done this. They shouldn't have let you.
Just this once. Perhaps the last time.
But you're going to get well. Then I know I can make you love me. I know I can make you happy.
I do love you, Frank. And I'm trying to prove it. Because I'd rather die than live and lose you.
But you're going to live. We're not going to lose each other.
So, my dear,
Don't scold me. Just feminine vanity. I wanted to look my best again.
So you know more than I realized you knew.
What do you mean?
These impulses to go to him. The pull is too strong to withstand and live.
I'm so glad you understand.
Helen knows. She knows the moment she stops struggling, he will give her back her strength to come to him.
But I don't want to lose my own mind. And be someone else. Someone I hate.
My dear, while you were growing worse, we tried to find him and failed. The next time the call comes, go to him.
And Dave is like, what the heck are you talking about?
We can do no more. Arbeth has beaten me. The next time he draws her to him, we must follow her.
And then?
We will destroy him.
Again, same enough as Dracula. Wait for him to make the move to get the girl, and then take care of him.
I've given her some bromide. She's asleep now. I'll go to bed.
All right. I'll wait here till Dr. Miller comes.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, we're creeping. Ah, the fool. He takes off the pendant. Puts it on the door handle. He's done only half a job and he's got a full smile. Honestly, if you're going to take it off, at least put it around her neck. And he has his chance. He's just been watching from his water. He's coming for you, Frank! I don't remember enjoying these scenes as much as I do now. It's just, honest to God, he's just going for him. Oh, he got there, though. He got the pendant, but he's knocked out. Which means, out she comes. Cutting this intense ass stare. Oh, man. That just broke into the museum, breaking the bars. Another guard dead. And now she's dressed up crazy for the time.
But this is not the temple, nor my father's palace.
Do not look, handsome woman. Do not be afraid.
I was afraid. When you were kneeling beside my bed, a veil came over my eyes. Darkness.
Your last memories of me in the hour of your death as I knelt by your bed 3,700 years ago.
No man has ever suffered for woman as you suffered for me. And now that the gods have forgiven us.
No, not yet. Your soul is in a mortal body, renewed many times since we loved in Thebes of old.
Not that easy.
But that love is not for us again until the great change.
I do not understand.
Look.
He wants that body. Granted, you can't exactly acquire for taste.
Look and wonder.
Figure of myself. It is my coffin made by my father against my death. What mummy has usurped my eternal resting place?
It is thy dead shell. I tried then to raise this body. I could raise it now. But it would be a mere thing that moved at my will, without a soul. It was not only this body that I loved, it was thy soul. I destroy this lifeless thing. Thou shalt take its place but for a few moments, and then rise again even as I have risen.
So far she's on board, but what he's gone through, I don't think anyone would very willingly go through. Anyone sane. Destroying one mummy and wanting to create another. It's just casually burning away, and they're just back to business. And the servants, he's cooking something up. She's slowly realizing what she's walking into.
Imhotep. This is the place of embalmment. It is not lawful for me, a priestess of Isis, to see or touch an unclean thing.
Come to the altar of Anubis, the guide of the dead. The time has come for the final prayer.
What have I to do with Anubis?
The ancient rites must be performed over thy body. Then I will read the great spell with which Isis brought Osiris back from the grave. Thou shalt rise again.
No.
Ah.
No, I'm alive. I'm young. I won't die. I loved you once, but now you belong with the dead. I am Anxanaman, but I'm somebody else too. I want to live, even in this strange new world.
For thy sake I was buried alive. I ask of thee only a moment of agony. Only so can we be united.
The wrath of nature. You shall not plunge my body into that.
Let the deed be done.
Again, there's very powerful dialogue here. There's something to stab her with. He has no will to fight that. But he does back away.
I no longer fear you. Do with me what you will.
Sort of out of nowhere, that. Ah, there's our hero. Finding the knocked out fool that took off his charm. Get him up.
Frank.
Mr. Miller.
They must be in the museum. Now I know his horrible plan. He is going to kill her and make her a living mummy like himself.
Oh, y'all got to be quicker than that.
The gods will receive into the underworld the spirit of Anxanaman, but not for long. Osiris will release thy soul.
We're getting closer.
You shall rest from them, like the setting sun in the west. But you shall dawn anew in the east, as the first rays of Amon-Ra dispel the shadow.
Can't praise it enough. Boris Karloff, give him any lines. He'll deliver it like his life depends on it.
Look! What's that?
You guys are slow. Close up too of the attempted stabbing here. Almost.
Helen!
Oh, Isis, holy maiden, I was thy consecrated vestal. I broke my vows. Save me now. Teach me the ancient summons, the holy spells I've forgotten. I call upon thee as of old.
Nebet etophanes.
He's about to handle them. In the long run, though, where's the hero? It is the gods themselves. Burning the scroll. It's not quite Van Helsing staking Dracula, but we do get to see an impressive shot of the mummy crumbling. I do wish we would have seen him physically crumble, though. We just saw him decay more.
Helen. Helen. Come back. It's Frank. Come back.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, we do get to see the corpse ever so briefly before we cut to the end. It's a Universal picture. I'd say our most relaxed so far would be this one, but I had a blast watching this again. It's not one I watch so much often, but if it weren't for this, think about what would have never been. Not just the rest of the Mummy movies back then, but today's more popular ones as well. Ooh, boy, that was a blast to get through. It still holds up to my views. Boris Boris Karloff delivers a 10 out of 10 performance. I guess it's Edward Van Sloan's least powerful performance, I should say, but that's not saying much. As I've said, he's still the most relatable one there is. Fun enough, though. There's another one, folks. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Great to watch with you, even if you just watched a couple of minutes. We'll see you another time. Have a lovely day. 2 more reactions to come. Again, if this is orchestrated the way I think it is, I will see you all next Monday for another horror movie. And the last Friday of October, which should be the 29th, for a bonus. Have a lovely day, folks. Keep it real. Still going, huh? Well, see you later.